You are now tuned in to the War Party Paranormal Radio Show, where we will be discussing actual audio and visual clips captured during the team's investigations. Hear firsthand eyewitness accounts from fellow team members and special guests. Now smash that like, subscribe, and follow button, and let's get ready to welcome team leader and your host, Eric Vanderlaan, and tech specialist and co-host, Mike Del Coro.
Happy Monday, everybody. We're back. Yep. Back to back, Mike. How about that? Back to back live shows. Yep. So, I'm your host, Eric Vanderlaan of the War Party Paranormal Radio Show and also team leader of War Party Paranormal Research. And on my side, I got...
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. My name is Mike Del Coro, and I'm an investigator with War Party Paranormal and your co-host. And we got a great show for you guys tonight. I'm going to let Eric tell you what we're getting into.
Yeah, we do. I mean, we like the ghost hunting ladies. I mean, they bring a lot to the table. We had the ghost hunting moms last time, and tonight we have the pleasure of having the ghost hunting housewives. So yeah, we got them. They're like in the South. They're spread out, but sort of close. Florida Panhandle, Pace, if anyone heard of that. Baton Rouge, Louisiana, and Alabama. So I'm not going to waste any time, and I created an intro. Want to see it, Mike?
I sure do.
All right, here we go. If I can find it. There we go. And yeah, Ernesto's in the chat. Ernesto, if that sounds familiar, that's your music. So thanks a lot, my brother. Yeah, we got Ernesto in the chat. Modern Mimes, if you haven't heard of them, they're a rock group. You got to check them out. They're on YouTube, and they write all our music. Right, Mike?
That's right.
So I'm not going to waste any time. And tonight, like I said, we have the Ghost Hunting Wives, and we have, I'm going to catch them off guard, Carol. Thank you, Carol, for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks for coming on, Crystal. And last but not least, Amy. Thanks, Amy.
Welcome, everyone.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, welcome to the show. And you guys are like busy. You just finished a podcast.
We did back to back, but hey, you got to hustle, got to keep it going.
Exactly. You guys are very popular. That's a good thing, right?
I don't know. Is it? So. I mean, it could be good and it could be bad. You just never know with housewives.
Right. And you guys have been investigating for quite a while, right?
We have. Carol and I actually started investigating over 20 years ago together.
Wow.
So we were just, out there learning what we could. And, it wasn't really much of social media back when we were started because we're not young anymore.
Come on, stop that.
I know.
They're young.
How you feel. That's how you feel.
And so we started investigating back in the early 2000s, and Taps was just getting their start on TV, and you really didn't see much. You could go to the library and check out 13 Ghosts of Alabama and Jeffrey 2 or something like that, but it wasn't something that you could actually go and find a lot of stuff other than movies on TV. Right. So we decided in, let's see, how long ago did we start, Carol? Like 5 years ago, we decided, let's start the Ghost Hunting Housewives. She and I had both been single moms at one point. And so we ended up getting remarried and, we started the Ghost Hunting Housewives. And as of last month, we brought our cuz, Amy Tucker, in.
Yeah.
So, Cuz Tucker right there.
Awesome.
She has all kinds of names. Amy, Cuz, tuck.
Mm-hmm.
I do. Some we
Eh.
can't say on the air, but you know.
Yeah.
Right. And
That
we
you just never know if she's going to have a face or body's going to be missing
Hair.
or.
But we were talking backstage, how like a lot of people don't know about the South. Like we were talking about Miami, Fort Lauderdale, West Palm
Mhm.
Beach area. But like even where you guys live in that nice little corner of paranormal activity, I think. You got Louisiana,
Triangle. Mhm.
Alabama, Florida, you got voodoo, you got the Civil War, you got the Seminole Indian Wars, all kinds of crazy
Oh,
stuff
yeah.
going on there, right?
You got the French, and they got the French that came in, and
Exactly.
it's just the I think we have this perfect triangle, and we can easily jump down to South Florida or jump up to North Georgia, and we're just centrally located to so many amazing things. Then we're like, hey, Carol, I'm coming over.
Come on.
And what's like your go-to place? Like, is there a place that you guys like always go to? Like we have a couple of go-to places where we go mess around with equipment, things like that.
The Poly Jail.
Yeah.
I love
That
Poly
is our
Jail.
place. That is our place. And it's a very primitive experience because there's no electricity there.
Mm-hmm.
There is no running water in the place. There is nothing but the cells that were put in there by the Polygel company and the building itself. Some old artifacts. That's it. That's all
In
you
a
got.
small,
That's
tiny,
perfect
quiet
for
town.
investigating.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and this is
that's right up our alley.
actually, this is it.
Yeah,
Like, this is the second floor to the bullpen up in the Poly Jail. So
Oh, very cool. When was it built?
it was built in 1896.
Okay,
So,
and where is that exactly?
Union Springs, Alabama, middle of nowhere, not even a hotel for you to stay in. So
nowhere to eat.
Nowhere to
Oh,
eat.
wow, right.
Like, you got to bring all your own stuff. We even attempted in December when we were there. We're like, oh, we'll spend the night. It was storming so bad that the walls were sweating from the
Oh, wow.
humidity. So we're like, oh, we'll sleep in the blazer.
Yes, we slept in the car. And then we were there in July one year for 12 hours. It was 100 and I don't know, it felt like 200
I
degrees.
thought I was gonna die.
Yeah, it was so hot, but
Yeah, we can relate to that. That's for
yeah,
sure.
yeah, Florida.
That means you guys can hang with us because we go to some pretty wild places like out in the Everglades and all kinds of things.
Well, we just got back from the woods. We've been in the
Yeah,
woods
I don't
all
want to
week.
hear about y'all in them woods. Okay, I'm a country
Hey.
girl, and if I hear kitty kitty one more time when y'all are calling out to a bobcat, I'm not going.
No, it got mauled.
Mm-mm, no.
Oh, it would have come home with us. And been
Yeah, it
fun.
would. You wouldn't have made it home. It would have eat your face off.
Crystal screaming at us to get back in the car. Get in the car. I'm like, I gotta
I
get
know.
a picture. I gotta get
Yeah.
a video. Hold on.
Well, if you would have done kitty kitty somewhere down here, you probably would have gotten a Florida panther or a skunk ape.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Add it to my menagerie of animals I have at home.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah. She has a
Yep.
pig.
I have a
Yeah.
pig.
And
Oh,
dogs.
wow. Interesting.
And
You should have a
dogs.
ghost hunting pig. You ever thought of that?
Oh, she's spicy. She's more like the demonic sounding pig. She just
Oh,
sounds
okay. All right. She might be
You-
she might be good for like a demonic investigation. They
Yeah.
can battle each
Probably,
other
yeah.
out.
sound effects.
Who can squeal the loudest?
She can.
Her.
Yeah.
She's loud.
Yeah.
So Carol, you guys just recently went to investigation last week, and you got a little picture back there. Can you tell us
Yeah.
about it?
That's the cemetery out there. There's not a lot of graves out there.
Yeah.
There was.
Really?
I'm
We
trying to think.
spent 3 days, 2 nights at the historic Fort Blakely battlefield, and that's the cemetery. It
And
was
what
pretty
battles
awesome.
were they involved in?
The
Was it
Battle of Mobile.
Okay.
Hmm.
And
So
that was
this
during
was-
the Civil War?
Yes,
Yeah.
and this was
Okay.
actually the last location for the Battle of Mobile. So
Okay.
this is where they made their last stand, and many were taken as POWs. And so it was. There's also a ghost town there called Blakely.
Oh my God. I
and
think
they
we're gonna have to
actually-
go there, Mike.
Oh, you should. They still have.
Oh yeah.
They still have the
That's amazing.
foundations to the old courthouse from
Oh, wow.
the early
Very cool.
1800s. They
That's
have a
that
jury.
picture
Yep.
of the bars. The the picture you had on earlier in the bars. That's what they
Uh-huh.
have around the foundation of where the courthouse was.
Yep.
Oh,
neat.
And
okay.
the hanging tree is right out in front of it. So it's
Yep.
Okay.
The jury oak. They had a jury oak there where the judge would climb up the tree and condemn everybody.
yeah.
Oh, wow.
So yeah. So
Wow.
that it's pretty
That
awesome.
cemetery, there's not a lot of people buried there. There's like a myth that there were unmarked graves, but we had talked to a man out there, and he said he had ran one of the. He said it looks like a lawnmower.
Yeah.
Yeah,
The
Uh-huh.
ground
And
penetrating
he didn't-
radars.
he didn't find much of anything.
Mhm.
Now I'm trying to picture the fort. Is it like one of those like Civil War brick forts? Is it like
Nope.
right on the coast?
It's
It's-
not a fort.
It's
No.
more of just a battlefield anymore. It's
Okay.
called Fort Blakely. And I know most people know about Fort Morgan and how it's the concrete cathedral style forts. This is more of just the battlefield is all that's left there. They have
Wood.
rebuilt it and taken the historical integrity of the place and kept that. But the battlefield site is the main portion of it that's still there, and it's all wood, and you've got your different bunkers and stuff there. So,
So
Really
what
neat.
kind of things happen there that people normally say?
well, we are one of two in teams that have ever investigated this location. So it was an honor for us to be there as a military spouse, military families. To be able to go in there and investigate. It was
We need
we
more
had
time, for sure. It's
Yeah.
huge. It's huge.
it's huge. There's
We
like
need-
2,500 acres.
Yeah.
It's
Oh, wow.
massive. Like we need another like 2 months there to be
Yeah.
able to get all of it. But we had the XLS that was going on the first night, and we actually got someone at the very top of the mound on top of a bunker, and it looks like they're carrying a rucksack and walking
Oh,
back
really?
and forth. Yeah, so that'll be released. Sean Daniel
That's very cool.
with Suncoast Paranormal, he's going to be releasing a lot of the XLS cameras. But we had so many amazing experiences. I mean, we hiked back there just to have the experience more so because Tuck thought it was a brilliant idea.
Yeah.
hike
4 miles.
4 miles
later, and we're
Um,
freezing. Snot
on
coming out our
the first
nose.
night,
And it was so dark. It was so
Oh.
dark.
You can see your hand in front of your face.
and there was
Yeah.
Oh,
bobcats.
wow. I love that.
Yeah.
Bobcats.
I
Bobcats.
hope you had a thermal just in case. We're packing.
Yeah,
Oh,
pretty
Yeah,
much.
we
We
were.
were.
But I didn't feel as comfortable because I didn't have it to hold on to. So therefore, it's in
Right.
her bag, and I'm like, that ain't gonna help us. Like
You
he
gotta
ain't
have
gonna
that in
come
your
running.
hand, girl.
Exactly. Like I wasn't raised
Cocked
to
and
put it
loaded.
away.
Oh,
I
I
usually
would've
have
been ready.
2 in the car, but my husband took one out, so we only had 1.
And that's one
Oh,
thing
okay.
as a all female team, we are always prepared. Don't come messing with us.
Oh yeah.
We always prepared.
Yep.
Gotta
we
be.
love our co-founder, Marla Scotty Burns. She was 6 foot tall. Back in the day, she used to be a bouncer, and she was always strapping when we were investigating.
Mm-hmm.
That's Tuck. She's our.
She's a
our-
prior corrections officer, so we
corrections.
brought her
Okay.
in as
Nice.
security.
Yeah.
We always
There you
make
go.
good stuff. We hear something coming up the stairs. Tuck,
They're
go see what
hugging
that
on me
is.
or something, and I'm like, oh, come on.
And Tuck, during your career, have you ever experienced anything like paranormal in the correctional facilities?
Yes. Yes.
I bet.
Definitely. I've had I remember one night
Oh, we
Uh-oh.
lost
Oh,
her.
man.
Oh, there she
Oh,
goes.
We got a little tease.
That's all right. Doing our checks, and it was about time to turn on the boilers in the kitchen in the chow hall. And so I went through the chow hall part and was going back to the kitchen, and you had to unlock the doors to get back there, right? Nobody was supposed to be back there. It was lights out. You know, I was the only one. Only 2 people had keys to that at that point. I walked in there, and about the time I hit the corner of the kitchen where the boilers were at, I turned and I heard a female go, hi. And I'm like, hello? And there was no traffic on the radio, nothing going
Oh,
on. It
wow.
was totally quiet. I was like, oh my God, one of these civilian workers had got stuck in the freezer or something like that. So I went and checked everywhere, and there was nothing. Absolutely nothing.
Well,
I
you
just
know,
learned
it's
everything.
funny. It's funny that you said that because I was just going to tell you before you were starting to tell the story that my first disembodied voice was at the Broward Women's Correctional Facility. It's now torn down, but if you
Yeah.
guys saw the movie Monster and know of
Yeah.
the
Eileen
serial killer
Wuornos.
Eileen
Yeah.
Wuornos, she was
Oh,
locked
Mhm.
up there for a period. So
Yep.
we used to investigate that place, and I heard my first disembodied voice. We were setting up cameras, and my partner was like, "I just heard someone say hello," and I was like, "There's got to be someone outside." And I reviewed the camera footage, and sure enough, it was like a high pitch hello with like a high pitch giggle, and you can
Oh,
almost
wow.
hear it like echo down the hallway. It was crazy.
I worked in an all male facility, so there shouldn't have been a female back there that said hi.
Right.
So
Wow.
that kind of, that kind of threw it right there. And then just different feelings. And, I've had other coworkers have other experiences where they've actually seen things. So, it's crazy.
So what? I'm gonna ask a question. What brought you guys, like maybe each individually, like brought you into the paranormal? Like, was there anything that happened maybe when you were that kind of triggered your interest into starting to investigate or anything like that? Like Eric's story is pretty weak. I actually
Thank you.
he's like, I just wanted to try it one day and I liked
Here
it,
we
so I
are.
kept doing it. So I mean, I've actually I had
I'm a
something
curious
happen.
fellow.
I had something happen to me when I was younger, and I just always kind of was interested in all things, paranormal, UFOs, different things. So what kind of got you guys into it?
Mine was, I've always had feelings and crazy stuff. So I thought I was crazy for a long time.
Mhm.
And I met Crystal and we started talking. We actually met in Fort Walton at a bar that we worked at. It was haunted.
We weren't
And
drunk at the time. Just
we
gonna
were
say
not
that.
drunk. And we started talking and I was like, holy crap, I'm not crazy. I'm not crazy. She's like, no. And I'm like, all right. So it just kind of
Are
all
any of
started
you guys
there.
sensitive or have like
Yes.
can
Yes.
see or hear or
Yeah.
experience anything, feel stuff or anything like that, or is it
I
mostly
feel
equipment?
things. I
do
feel
too.
things. And
Carol is the one that can actually feel how someone's passed away. We've actually sat in a restaurant and all of a sudden her head just goes and she goes, it felt like someone just shot me in my head. I'm like, oh no, Carol's been shot in the head. But Carol has those types of experiences. She's actually felt, we were in Savannah and we were at the Marshall House and she actually felt how someone had died. And we called our medium just to confirm what I was getting off of it
in the
and
room
what
we
she
were
was
sleeping in.
feeling. And the room we were sleeping in, someone had actually died of an ulcer, a bleeding ulcer. And
Wow.
she was actually having stomach pains. And every time she'd leave the room, she was fine. She would go back in the room, pain.
Isn't
And
that
what do I
something?
do? I left her sleeping all by herself. So
Yeah, she
And
did.
that's one of those experiences, like you could tell somebody and they're gonna be like, oh wow, but just to experience something like that
Mhm.
where it coordinates with the history and you also have a psychic medium that's lining up their story plus
Yeah.
your with your feelings and things like that, that's really wild to experience because we've had similar type experiences and there's really no explaining the way that that
confirmation.
exactly.
Yeah.
And it just it's really mind-blowing, isn't it?
And it is. And, with me, my entire life, I've had, experiences. I can go back to my father passed. He drowned in the Apalachicola River there in
Sorry to hear
Florida back in 1985. It was 1 year and 1 day. And I can remember back to 3 and 4 years old. And I wasn't there when he passed away, but I could in dream state see how he passed away all the way down to the details. He was missing for 21 days.
Wow.
And I continued to have these dreams up until I was 13. But in between that, I was having experiences. And I would have all these experiences in my childhood home. So yep.
Yeah. So you feel like that he might have been there, kind of like letting you know that he's okay or something of that nature.
Yeah, and it was more a opening and awakening for my gifts, because even when I was 3 and 4 years old, I had gotten into a tiff with my sister, and she went outside to tattle, and I was going to go out there and defend my honor. And as I ran through the living room, somebody called my name. And when mom and pop came into the inside of the house, I was just standing there with my hands on my hip, giving this spirit a what for. Like, I'm going to tell you why I have to go out there and defend my honor. But it was just anybody who knows me knows I have a very strong personality. So it takes a lot of to be able to handle my strong personality. But my entire life. So when I met Carol and I got to explain to her all the things that had happened in my life, she's like, what? This happened to me in my life. And I now finally found my soulmate to be able to tell all
Very cool.
my lifelong things to. So
Yeah, we were like, we're going to be best friends. Okay.
here we are over 20 years later. Yeah. And then there was
do you guys do residential cases at all?
We do. We definitely do. We have a regular residential case here in Millbrook, Alabama. And so we started out doing residential more so than, we like going to a location and not knowing anything about it and determining, is this or is this not? And people can go to all of these well-known locations and, you're going to pick, especially someone who is gifted is going to already know in their brain because they've seen it on social media or they've seen it on, a YouTube show, a TV.
Right.
And then you go into a place that no one's investigated. And that's why, we get this bad rap of being ghost hunters. Well, guess what? You got to hunt for a location that may or may not be haunted.
Yeah.
And that's what we do. So we can go to, a location that has never before been investigated, or we can go to a location that's been investigated 100 times and get absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
We try to find places that, people don't go to very often, or places that people have never been. So we like that.
Yeah. And just like you were saying too, sometimes it's not even consciously, it's subconsciously, if you know the history and you hear something and you might try.
Mike doesn't want to know anything when we go to an investigation.
I try. I mean,
everything.
Sometimes you can't avoid it. Some of the bigger places, like you said, that stuff's on social media, or you're talking to somebody that's telling you their experiences when you get there, or things like that. But I'd rather go in blind.
We're not sensitive either. We were tech guys.
Yeah,
we do.
Mike's
we do
sensitive. He has a sensitive heart, though.
So with Mike, so every time I see a picture of Mike, okay, so I'm gonna have to share this with everyone. So he looks just like my Tio Charlie. Like identical. My Tio Charlie is actually in Spain touring right now on this big, tour. He's an artist, but every time I see a picture, I'm gonna have to show you guys a picture of my Uncle Charlie one day and be like, look, this looks just like Mike.
And Tuck, how did you get into the paranormal?
Let's see. I remember when I was a kid seeing and hearing things, but what really got me into it was when I was 9. I was sitting in my mom's living room, and there was like an open floor plan, like you had a bar and all that stuff in the kitchen. She was in there balancing her checkbook. I remember my sister, she couldn't talk really. She was a baby. And I heard my name called, and it sounded just like my mom, and it sounded like it was coming from the room and there with me. And I said, ma'am, what do you want? Nothing. And then all of a sudden she said, come here. And I'm like, okay. I said, what'd you call me for? She goes, that wasn't me. She heard it too.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah.
Wow, interesting.
We were freaked out the rest of the night for that one.
Tuck feels a lot of things.
I'm sure.
Too.
I do. I feel a lot of things. My head gets all tingly, like somebody's sitting there on top of my head doing that. It don't matter if I'm wearing like a hat, because I wear a hat all the time.
And when you're at work, you just shut it off?
Yeah.
You know how to turn it on, shut it off?
Yeah.
Because you'd go nuts, right? With all the crazy things that happen there.
Oh, yeah.
But Mike, Franny says that you have a doppelganger now, just like her.
From the last place we
investigated. Or just like Thaney. It's Thaney. Thaney has a doppelganger. Yeah. This is one of our team members, one of Franny's best friends. She's another team member. Has a good friend that looks exactly like our new team member Thaney. So she calls her the doppelganger.
Wow. The resemblance though of Mike and my Tio Charlie, like I gotta actually look at names. Like the beard, he always wears his hat the same, and I'm always like, wait, that's not my Tio Charlie, so I'm not gonna
It could
say
be
love
Tio
you.
Mike.
I know. I'm like, I'm not gonna
We'll
say love
serenade
you.
you.
Scroll.
All right. Well, we got to pay some bills, right, Mike?
Is it that time already? Wow, time's flying.
Yeah.
Yeah, we sure do. Let me find them here.
So strap in and buckle your seatbelts.
Where is it? Oh, here we go. All right. All right. So here's a couple words from our sponsors, and we'll be right back.
What is up, my paranormal peeps? You may be wondering why we're holding something like these in our hand, and my buddy's going to tell you all about it.
The reason that we have this paranormal equipment in our hand is because we're giving a big shout out to the Ghost Hunter store, one of our sponsors. They're your one-stop shop for everything paranormal.
That's right, and you may have seen some of these equipment on your favorite paranormal TV shows.
Exactly, especially the Haunted Files on Paraflix.
Mike's got that right.
All right, guys, so check them out, and if you use the code word Ghost Gone Wild,
Not Girls Gone Wild.
Ghost Gone Wild, in your checkout, you'll get a discount on your purchase. Thank you, guys.
Peace. What's up, my paranormal people? Eric and Mike here from the War Party Paranormal Radio Show, wanting you to remember the importance of hydration. Remember, we hunt ghosts. We don't want to turn into ghosts. Dehydration can lead to inflammation and even degenerative disease, so hydration is crucial.
Whether you're up all night investigating the paranormal, sky watching, or Bigfoot, Fuel Up Hydration System is designed to support motivation, concentration, and rejuvenation with the best immune-enhancing delivery system available today.
Experience the benefits of Fuel Up with their Feel the Difference money-back guarantee.
Visit fuelup.gg/warparty for their special offer that includes free shipping. Fuel Up for life. Hey, Eric, how do we do?
It's awesome.
All right. Well, maybe we should stick to hunting ghosts. I don't know if commercials is our thing.
True that. You guys could have used that last week.
Yeah, right? For your hike.
Yeah. Or out there in the bayous of Baton Rouge.
Baton Rouge.
Yep.
And guys, we got one more quick one for you. Eric and I have a show on Paraflix called The Haunted Files, and we have a new episode coming out Friday night, 9:00 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It was an investigation that we did that we caught so much evidence that we actually had to make it into a 2-part episode. So part 1 is already up and streaming on Paraflix now, and part 2 is coming out this Friday. And here's a little clip from that. And
We gotta take you ladies there too.
yeah, it's an amazing location. So
You'll love it.
here we go.
So in the past, I've gotten evidence of someone that was pushed out of this train. Was murdered, yeah.
From this train and were murdered.
That's Joe talking. Joe feels like somebody's trying to hurt him. He said, "Do you want permission to hurt him to get away?"
You don't have permission to hurt Joe or either one of us.
And out of nowhere, like 20, 30 flying saucers just started going like I don't know, it's weird, I have goosebumps right now. Just went and like they all came in like very fast and then like started hovering from, but you could see them like in front of the moon, like the moon was like just past it.
When you started talking about owl, I started thinking about aliens.
right, it's towards the end of the night, guys. We're pretty beat. It's pretty hot, but we're going to do a solo session. Each one of us is going to split up and go into a different cart. Whoa. I swear I hear something in here.
Can you make it go off one more time?
Wow.
Yeah.
Good job, Mike.
We would
It
definitely
was,
go there.
Woo.
It was wild. And Joe is one of our psychic mediums.
He's our human REM pod.
Yeah, exactly.
And it was weird because it was like I felt like he was having difficulty breathing, and then
Yeah,
to
he
see
did.
him actually having difficulty breathing, because I don't know if you saw, I was like right when it first came on, because I was like, whew.
Yeah. He
And
did have
yeah,
that
he
problem.
started saying like whoever's here, like you cannot hurt me, you cannot, because he said he had like a pressure on his chest, and
Yeah.
it's
heavy.
yeah, he's like Carol, kind of like he can feel when, usually sometimes how the person died. He was in I think this is on part 1 that's out now. When he was sitting in the train, he started feeling like in his ribs, like a pain, and he was like, like real bad. And he goes, if this is you need to back up. You don't have permission to hurt me or whatever. And then he didn't know. We informed him after that there was a CIA agent that got shot on board that train.
Yeah.
So yeah, pretty wild stuff.
When we were
And
here,
then he was seeing UFOs and stuff.
That
Like,
happened. It was crazy.
Wow.
Yeah,
That
was-
place is such a, and you you people, I'm saying you people again.
You saying you people again.
So anyone that's local or maybe even wants to drive down to South Florida, you can just, if you keep an eye on and follow us on our Facebook page, we do events there. They're interactive, and you get to come investigate with us. We got all the equipment. You get to be a part of the investigation. You get to see it yourself, things that happen there. And ladies, this place is amazing. Back in the day, before it was a railroad museum, it was a Navy air base. And it had these blimps that patrolled the coast for German U-boats back in the day.
Oh, wow.
And they had 3 blimps that could hold. No, they had 3 blimps. They had 3 hangars that could hold 6 blimps.
Oh wow.
And in the 1940s, a hurricane came, and one of the hangars ripped up, and one of the blimps caught on fire, and all 3 blimps blew up. And now they built a smaller hangar on top of where the older hangar used to be, and now it's a railroad museum, and they have all these rail cars that all have their like own personalities. There's a presidential car where Truman, Roosevelt, Winston Churchill, Reagan rode in it. There's a segregation car. There's a double-decker car. There's an
Life
Army
through
medical
history.
car.
Yeah.
So
I'm
you
all
got,
looking at the calendar. What can we switch around? We
I
gotta-
know, right? And all the cars have their own personalities, and then you got remnants of the structure from the original hangar, and we get like stuff there. Some might be residual, some's intelligent, but people
Amazing.
get touched. We've heard disembodied voices, but I don't know. I've investigated. I don't know how you guys feel, but from my experience and our team members, like that's probably one of the places we have investigated the most. I can't tell you how many times I've been there day and night. I get activity. I think the more often you visit a place, you sort of like build relationships, because they were like people too, right?
Exactly. And they know you, and you know them.
I get my name called out like on cue now. So like when we went to Waverly, like to me, like I wanted to compare Waverly to the Gold Coast Railroad Museums. That's where I get the most activity to see how it was. But
it gets kind of disappointing sometimes.
I know, because
we went to Myrtles. I mean, like, it's Myrtles, right? Nothing for us. We had the whole house to ourselves, the whole right side.
Wow.
Like you would think, no, nothing. Not even a REM pod go off. Not even a K2 meet. Nothing happened. the entire.
See, I feel like sometimes that happens too, is because you get so hyped up and you build it up in your mind and you're like so excited to go. But then I kind of like relate to it as like going fishing, you know, like sometimes it's on, sometimes it's not. And it all depends on what's going on. But yeah, I feel like some of these big places, you kind of build up higher expectations, you know,
That's
but
it.
it's like the places that
built
you
up.
go to more, like the jail that you guys frequent.
Mhm.
I'm sure you guys get a ton of activity there because you're going back, you're establishing a relationship with the you know, the people that are there, that are still there.
Yeah.
They
Well,
love to
Myrtle's
call
was
my
cool.
name too.
Yeah. And Myrtle's was pretty cool because actually, you know, we weren't getting anything, but we were in the parking lot getting some stuff out of the car. And there was a lady and her son, Jet, coolest little kid
Coolest
ever.
kid.
So they're out in the
Cool
parking
name.
lot. And yeah. And she's like, came over, started talking to us. Well, you know, he was kind of scared. He has some abilities and didn't know what to do with them and stuff. So we hung out. Well, they hung out with us all night long, and we did get some evidence, but not in
It was
our
in
side of the house.
it was
in their
in the room with him, and he was
wow.
just it was amazing.
They were all about him, and it
Mhm.
was cool. He was a cool kid.
It was really cool. So, and then Carol even went back just to have a dinner date with her husband at Myrtle's, you know, and she went out to the gazebo, ran an EVP session, and instantly got, I'm dead.
Yeah.
Really?
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So
I'm always carrying
very
a recorder.
clear. Yeah. And you could, she's like, it was like, you didn't even have to run it through a, you know,
No, you
a
could hear it.
system to, you
It
didn't
was
have to run it.
crazy.
Do you guys have a go-to recorder?
We actually all use something different, which is strange.
Oh.
Carol uses a Zoom.
Okay.
I use a Tascam.
I got one of those.
And Tuck uses just, you know, her Olympus, and she's got a Sony. So we all have different ones that we use. I love my Tascam.
I even have a cheap little thing.
Yeah. That's
and,
what she got her one that
Yeah,
just
I
fits
get
in your
good
pocket.
stuff off that. I mean, it's some cheap little thing. Loud, don't put it up to your ear. I just did that this past week where I was like, and I was like, whoa. But yeah, they're pretty good.
Or Zap Adderall. John Zap Adderall. Call him Zap because he's like in electronics and he got Zap one time. But anyway. So what he did in the past was he bought all these like, you know, cheap little recorders and tested all of them. And, you know, he was probably the first one that people got to know. I don't know if you know the Sony SD25.
Yeah.
That's an amazing recorder, and he tested that before anyone knew about it. Like when I got my SD25, they go for like $250 now, $250. I got two, one for $15 and $20.
Yeah, that Facebook Marketplace was awesome.
we love testing. We love testing different recorders and all kinds of different stuff. We do feel like some of the older ones tend to work a little bit better for some reason. I think because of the shielding and some of these new condenser mics, you know, they're designed to cut out small noises, things like that. But we do use we do live listening with Zooms and Tascams, things of that nature as well. But one of the clearest EVPs we ever caught was on an old RCA.
Biggest piece of crap.
It
has a little floppy disk that you have to put into it.
Very strange.
I remember it,
to work. And when I first I got it, like it was brand like $30, like it was still in the package. And I put the floppy card and it's like, this stupid thing doesn't work. And then I finally realized there's a little plastic that you have to peel off and then you stick it in. Like it doesn't tell you that anywhere in the directions.
And Tuck's all about doing stuff. Like Tuck is great at finding, you know, different things, vintage recorders and
I love that.
you know, things like that. So
I'm gonna stay in touch with Tuck.
Yeah. She's all about that. She's got her own like, you know, sports card stuff. So she does all kinds of cool stuff.
I like collecting the old ones, right?
Yeah. Like old cameras too.
Yeah. I think there's old cameras. I love testing all kinds of stuff like that. You know,
I'm thinking about whipping out my Sony High 8 again with my cassette in there.
There you go.
I used to use that.
We do a lot of old school stuff. We got this one thing we all love, but we can't tell you. It's secret.
But we'll share it when we investigate.
If we investigate with
you. Okay, we're coming over.
Okay. We love the idea of testing everything that we possibly can, because you can
Yeah,
hear
that's fun.
from
Yeah.
someone else, oh, that doesn't work. But
Yeah.
what doesn't work for someone might work for someone else.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
so, we test out different things. We've even tested apps out, things like that. People are like, oh, I've never tried it, never going to try it. But how do you know if you don't try it? Just because you heard someone else say it? What if they don't want you to know that it works because they
You
want to
can
keep
get
the secret to yourself?
EVPs. You can get EVPs off of anything that records. I've
That's
gotten
it.
on my
Mhm.
camera. I've got it on my phone.
Camera.
Yep.
The little cheap GoPros. I've gotten EVPs off that. It's pretty wild.
Definitely. And it's
I
just,
think we got a lot.
Go ahead, Carol.
I think we got a lot of EVPs off of the our camcorders and stuff at the St. Landry courthouse. Most of the
Yeah.
EVPs came off the stuff we were filming. So
When I was dancing, yeah, it did.
yeah, Crystal shaking her booty.
That was staring at the spirits.
It did too, and you start seeing
It
things
did.
flying all over the
It
place,
Oh wow,
We're
that's
not
funny.
big
It
on
was intense.
orbs.
and then you hear, "Mama."
Yeah. Yeah.
So Carol, I have a question for you since you're from Louisiana, right? I don't know if it's the same for like the Panhandle of Florida and Mobile, Alabama, but like here in South Florida, we have like a lot of different cultures, and God knows Louisiana does, like with voodoo and things like that. Do you guys encounter that often?
Oh yeah. We like where I'm at around here, it's parishes. There's no counties or anything. Everything's
Right,
parish.
parish. Mhm.
Mhm.
And there's a lot of little, that we've been going to lately because we do a lot of stuff with Louisiana spirits.
Mhm.
You go to these tiny little towns. Everything is just so different. And all these little towns, I mean, it's like the whole place. I mean,
It
you
is.
just drive in and
It's like you
can
drive in,
feel
you feel it. Just
it.
slap.
Right,
feel it.
right. That's
Yeah.
like Virginia City. I don't know if you've ever been there.
Yep.
And then, of course, New Orleans.
Yeah, right.
And
Yeah,
then-
for sure.
And we have, like, we just did Opelousas, Louisiana, last month with Louisiana Spirits, and we actually got a full tour of the place beforehand. And the things that we got from the two buildings, actually, it was the old courthouse and the Chutes building. And it was like, these are places that we've been invited to come into, and most people don't get these unless they pay to come. So we were like, whoa, we love these people. But we got some really awesome evidence, and they responded to us, even with me not having a Cajun dialect. And Carol, none of us actually being from Louisiana, but they responded to us really, really well. So it was pretty awesome. We actually got one when we were. It tried to come home with us. I'm in the back. I mean, it's like 13 degrees outside. And I get in the car and I told Carol's husband, I'm not driving my Blazer. So I just throw the keys at him. And it's like one of the brand new Blazers. They have no idea. He has no idea how to use it or drive it. And
He's from
so
Texas.
I didn't know that my phone was actually on record. And you hear them say, simmer down and say to gas. And the car had been running for like 14 minutes on remote. So it was pretty awesome that they told us to simmer down and save the gas.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you get some really
amazing.
awesome EVPs that are with a Creole and Cajun dialect. So you get that Haitian Creole, and it's really amazing in Louisiana to get that. And I think that being able to actually get something and hear it outside of and know that it came from a spirit or residual or whatever it may be, and this it's so awesome to hear it. Like,
Everything's on here.
save the gas.
I get nervous. I mean, I don't know much about Santeria and voodoo, but I've encountered that. I just I look at it, but I don't touch it.
Yeah, that's the same with us.
We don't dabble when it comes to things like that. There's some places.
Boards.
We don't do any of that. But there's, even down in South Texas where my family is at, down in the Rio Grande Valley, there's certain places that I will not go to because they're just really dark, and not for me. I want happy I want happy spirits.
Yeah, we got both. We got dark and happy.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I remember we film little like stories for Univision,
Mhm.
the Latin TV network.
Mhm.
And we were filming at Pinewood Cemetery in Miami. It's like one of the oldest cemeteries that's there. Like people wouldn't think like there's Confederate soldiers buried there, but there
Yeah.
are. But like it was weird. Like we were there during the day, and there were just like all these like weird Santeria shit. That I'm sorry, excuse my language, but like all placed like strategically all over the place. I looked at it, but I'm like, I ain't touching it.
Yeah. And that's it. It's like, you
Yeah.
know, you kind of get that feeling. It's like, oh, this is beyond the realm of what I can comprehend, because there's so much out there that and
I would like
things.
to learn more about it though.
It is very
That's
so the
interesting.
occult
That's
and that is very, very interesting. And I will say that I've done my research on it, but I'm not. Mm-mm.
It's
I don't
like
know
me
if you
and
guys.
Paul.
This is like I posted just recently, an old clip from years ago, but we found like an altar that had a lot of occult symbols, and it was at the DoubleTree, and we videoed it.
And actually, it was nothing negative. People like we
Yeah.
discovered.
well,
right?
on a couple sides of it weren't, but there was some other stuff on the other sides that I still haven't got translated yet. But no, I wasn't touching it. That's for sure. I was just
Yeah.
I videoed it, and
Not
then
even
that
with the
was
stick.
it. Wasn't touching it with a 10-foot stick. Yeah.
And we were. I was actually stationed. My husband was stationed up in Washington D.C. for about 7 years. We just moved back to Alabama 2 years ago, and there's a lot of what's called witching rocks up in the Eastern Atlantic corridor, and like there's a rock in the middle of nowhere, Maryland, and you don't touch it. It's just like, you know, you have the people that talk about the Blair Witch Project and things like that up in
Right.
Maryland. It's TV.
They got the Devil's Tree as well.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
but there are certain places like Annapolis even had a location, and those places that people are like, have you investigated? No, I'm not going to. Yeah, I don't understand it, therefore I'm not going to do it.
Yeah.
Don't
Well,
understand enough about it. And
Yeah.
you know, understanding
Yeah.
today's occult life versus 200 years ago is
yeah.
also something that people need to understand as well. I mean,
Yeah.
that's like when people go into a location and they're talking English, but what if they don't know English and they only know Spanish?
Yeah.
Or what if you go into a location and they don't know English, but they know French, you know, and
Mhm.
vice
We were just-
versa.
We were just at
Mhm.
one where it was Indian, Native American.
Native
Yeah,
American.
we've gotten that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I got
that
a really I got a really cool EVP. We were in St. Augustine, and I was with my girlfriend, Franny, and we were it was during the day, and they were gonna fire the cannons. So everyone just rushes up to the top of the fort we were at the Castillo de San Marcos. So everyone rushes up to the fort because they want to see the cannon firing off. And I'm like, no, we're gonna go into the basement and we won't hear anything and no one will be there. And I said in Spanish, hablas español, and I got back, no, francés.
Oh wow.
Yeah, because they
Wow.
had French prisoners there too, and they used to execute
Yeah.
them.
Wow.
So that was pretty wild. Just in that
Yeah.
little short, like 10-minute span, I got
Just-
that.
You know, and it's a different, it makes you look at things so differently, because when you're out
Mhm.
there and you're in the moment, you're not thinking, what if
Mhm.
these people don't understand what I'm saying?
Mhm.
We were in an investigation in Georgia week ago, 7 days ago. And so we
Was it
we
7
were
days?
7, 8, 9. They're all running together now.
This month. Sometime
Yeah,
this
it was
month.
sometime this
Or was
month.
it last month?
We were up in North Georgia, and we were actually investigating a cabin built in the early 1800s by a Cherokee child.
Oh,
And
wow.
they were very interested in me. My full name actually came across the spirit box more than one occasion. And they would interact with me, but they wouldn't interact with the men that were with us investigating.
Mhm.
And but we did find, and that's something I told them. I was like, what if they really don't know how to talk to us? Like, some of them could, and they could interpret for us, but is that really how that works? There's so much out there that we don't know. And
Well,
that's why we're doing what we're doing.
I know,
Through the
right?
EVPs, I got music, like
Chanting, like,
chanting.
Oh, wow. I've gotten that.
You
Yeah.
could tell it was Indian, or Native
American. Yeah.
Well, I got something, since you're on that topic, I got something to tell you that I mentioned on the show before, but real quick, we got to be compliant. I'm going to get my compliance mode. So we have listeners that listen to our show on the KGRA Digital Broadcasting Network. And I just want to let our listeners know that in a few minutes, KGRA will be switching on to the next show. But if you want to continue to listen to us, or you can watch us on the War Party Paranormal YouTube page, or Facebook. And those of you that are on Facebook and on the War Party Paranormal page, YouTube page, check out KGRA Digital Broadcasting Network. They got amazing shows. We're not the only show here. And they talk about everything. Cryptids. They got MUFON on there to talk about UFOs, spirituality. They got other people who talk about the paranormal. And they got some celebrities on there as well. So check them out. How'd I do, Mike? Was
Fantastic.
All right. Did I do okay, Chanel? So give me a response. She'll give me the truth. All right. So anyway, she said I did lovely. Awesome. Okay. So what I was going to tell you is we were filming a scene at a cemetery that has these old Native American burial mounds that date back to 250 AD. And we were just just talking the shit. And I was just saying, and we were talking about, like, I wonder if people back in that period, now that they're passed away and we speak a different language, if they can understand what we say. And right when I said that, and I was just like talking to Mike and Scotty, we got a disembodied voice of a woman saying yes. And there's like nobody around. We're out in the middle of nowhere.
It was the clearest yes I've ever heard.
We had our thermals, and we were looking around to see if there was anybody nearby. Nothing.
Yeah.
Wow.
And it's actually on
like
one of our episodes, Spirits of the South.
Check it out.
It is unbelievable. We didn't even know if we captured it because we just had the cameras like just on, and we were just like, and we captured it on 3 different cameras.
Wow.
So yeah,
I love when you get the EVPs like that. It's just clear.
Yeah,
You don't even have to put publicity or anything on it. It's just there.
Yeah, it was
grade
wild.
A EVP. Yep.
Well, this was like disembodied. We heard it with our ears.
We heard our own ears.
That's amazing.
On the camera caught it.
Now that's even better.
Yeah, for sure.
And it was like answering his question, like, he goes to me, do you think if they spoke another language and they're deceased and we're trying to talk to them, if they can understand what we're saying in English? And I said, I have no idea. And then you just hear like a clear as day, yes.
That's amazing.
So pretty cool.
And
but
it is, it's like, wow, we all learn something from each other in this, and we can question and we can be like, hey, that's pretty cool,
I believe that. I think if you're on the other side, I don't think there isn't a language barrier.
Yeah. And I think that, even when, we have this misconception of, it's great to, investigate at night, but
if it's haunted, it's haunted 24 hours.
It's haunted 24/7.
It's not a night thing. We're just trying to get visuals with cameras and stuff.
My spirits have traveled to 5 bases with me. They go from base to base. They started in Albuquerque, New Mexico. My son was born. We've moved to Maryland. And when my son was 2 years old, he'd look at Carol and be like, hey, Carol, you see the ghost? It pooky. And he'd like point to it in the corner. He's never been afraid.
We always send videos. Is it haunted here? Is it haunted here, Mason? He's like, yeah, it's haunted.
Or he'll say, no, it's not. It's just a water tower.
Yeah, it's just a water tower. I see pictures of water towers all the time. Is this one haunted? No, not that one. That one over there is.
But I'm coming up it.
Yeah,
pretty much. But and it's like they traveled and followed us to many different bases and many different locations, and now that we're settling down and finally not on the move, they seem to have settled down a little bit as well. They're not as restless and, constantly moving things around and making noises and flipping baskets upside down when my husband gets mad because I bought a new piece of equipment with his credit card or something,
What does your husband think
too.
about all this paranormal stuff?
He's actually experienced it himself.
Okay.
And with his parents are very religious. So it's, for him, he just like, Mom, you can't change Crystal. You knew what she did when I married her. So, but he supports us, both my husband and Carol's husband, and they both support and help
Very
us. So Carol's husband actually helps her build equipment that we sell at Paracons.
He actually comes with us to places sometimes.
Yeah. So, and he was a non-believer when he started going with us. He did not believe in this, and we have since changed his mind. The spirits have helped us.
That's what you always want to do. So now you said that the spirits you got spirits with you. Do you try to get rid of them, or just something that you can just, deal with them and live with them?
I just tell them to go to bed like I do my kids.
Yeah.
I'm like, go to bed. I do not have time. So for anyone who knows me, I'm a Medea mama. So I'm like straight to the point. Like, I'm not going to tolerate your mess. It's late.
That's how you got to talk to them, right?
That's it. You do. And so like my son, I trained him the same way. I'm like, you tell him when you've had enough, So you hear him in the bedroom, I've had enough. It's time for you to go to sleep. He's only 8, so
Right.
And that's funny. That's the way I explain it to people that are experiencing things of that nature. I tell them, like, listen, this is your space, and all you got to do is you basically, if you talk to them like a child, like say, hey, listen, now's not the time. I'm going to sleep. Don't bother me. I'll talk to you tomorrow or whatever.
Yeah.
This is my time.
Yeah, these girls know I'm all about the mama. Like, I will throw that finger up and be like, "That's enough. I have had enough."
It works. It works because you're on the living plane.
That's it.
You have
respect my space, and I'll respect yours. Like you go and you do what I ask you to do, and if you can't, then you're not welcome. You're gonna have to scoot on down the road.
Yep.
Well, I hope they're not like that when you have people over for like a barbecue. So people might.
They've actually messed with my mother-in-law and father-in-law.
Oh, really? That's funny.
They're Baptists.
Uh-oh.
Pastors. Yeah. So it's been very interesting. And they do. They have
what
come
did,
over.
What do they think about your shenanigans?
You mean me talking to demons? I mean,
yeah, and dating and stuff like that, because they're very strict, right?
I'm not allowed at their house.
Oh yeah, 100%. They won't even let Carol go to their house. They think that she's demonic. Yeah. So we've had quite interesting conversations, to say the least. But they, when I tell them that a lot of the Paracons and stuff that we attend, they help a nonprofit, and we help so many different people, organizations. They're like, oh, well, that's good. That's very great.
Well, you help people who have problems in their homes. Who's going to help them?
Exactly.
You're going to send a Baptist pastor over there?
Yeah.
No, it's going to work.
That's it. They send me in, but and their home is actually haunted, but they won't admit to it.
Yeah.
Very, very. There is a shadow figure that is seen very, very often in their house, and I've seen it. You can hear it walking upstairs on the wood floors and everything.
Is it bad or good?
It's not bad.
Right.
It's a residual. You can actually see it. It wanders the same path every time you see it. It's going from the small office into the red bedroom. Doesn't mess with anything, but I've seen it. I've seen its shadow and its movements and heard it, and it's like clockwork. You can hear it.
Right.
But to tell them that and to get them to understand that, they're like,
no, they won't.
I know it's there, but we just pray it away.
Yeah,
it's still there.
Still there.
Yeah. It's an old place.
No, 1970s.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, not too old.
No.
But yeah.
Very cool. So, we're at the point of the show where you can tell people like where they can follow you. This is where you plug like crazy your information, what's coming up, where they can find you, any like Any videos coming up? Anything like that?
Well, we are working on a few projects. We do have some irons in the fire on some videos that we will be releasing really soon.
Very
We
cool.
have multiple Paracons coming up. We will be at Cajun Country Paracon in New Iberia,
Nice.
Louisiana.
I want to go to that one.
It is going to be
Yay,
fun. Talk about some Cajun food. It's going
When
to be
is
good.
that?
It's going to be March the 23rd in New
Okay.
Iberia, Louisiana. It's going to be so much fun. We're going to have
We'll be-
Jeremy Leonard there. Shane
20th
Pittman, Dave Schrader's going to be there. Like lots of awesome people. We're going to be
Right.
there. Southern Heat Paranormal. So we're going to be doing that in March. And then our big Paracon that we're doing this year is actually going to be in Paragould, Arkansas. Scared City presents High Nation with Santiago Cirillo. Anybody who knows Santiago knows that he is fabulous. But we love
Fabulous.
Santi. He's fabulous. He calls us the Ghost Hunting Housewives.
There you go.
But we will be supporting High Nation in Paragould, Arkansas in July, the 12th through the 14th. It's an anti-bully, anti-suicide nonprofit. So we will be doing that in July. And then we are headed up in October to the old YMCA in Rock Island. So we will be doing that Paracon this
Very
year
nice.
in October. So we're excited to go.
Where's Rock Island?
That one is up in Illinois. So we'll be headed up north. So the Rock Island.
You know what?
YMCA.
I think we might be going to that one too.
I think so. I think
we
I
were
saw that you
talking.
guys were gonna possibly.
I mean,
do
it's
that.
not official or anything, but we
Yeah.
spoke to someone. So
Make it official.
Make it official. We've got it. So it's going to be a lot of fun. We got quite a few of our friends that are actually going to do it. We're like, yeah, let's do it. Let's go have some fun up in that neck of the woods before it gets too cold. So we're going to be doing that. And that is the only way that you can currently get any of our equipment that Carol builds. So is at Paracons, because we are not selling online no more.
I'm just one old lady.
just one old lady.
I'm just one old lady.
Yeah.
Oh,
So.
what did I do? Okay.
But
No, I was trying to get your barcode so people that are on the TV or on the computer can scan your barcode real quick. There we go.
There we go. Whoa. But yes,
And
we
also tell us where where we can people can find you on social media.
You can find us on YouTube. You can find us on Facebook, Instagram, X / used to be Twitter. You can find us on TikTok. But yeah, that barcode takes you to our QR code takes you to our link tree. So,
which is also on Facebook. So
yeah,
you can find the link tree link on Facebook, and it takes you to everything.
And so any events that we will be at or nonprofits that we are fundraising for, all of that will go in there. So,
all right, you hear that, guys? Everybody that's listening, make sure you go check them out on their Facebook and all that stuff. Get their link tree, see what else they got going on, and follow them. Anybody else have any other social media or anything else that they want to throw out there for people to follow them, or is it all just straight through the Ghost Hunting Housewives?
It's all Ghost Hunting Housewives. We are
all right, perfect.
One band. Way to go.
Perfect. And if anybody out there wants to see any of my personal investigations or content that I put out there, I got a website, flaparanormalresearcher.com. It also has a link to the Ghost Hunter store where you can purchase the Delco goggles. And Eric, I'll let you talk a little bit about the website and War Party.
Yeah, well, me personally, you can find me at Ghost Hunter South Florida on IG, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. And also, if you go to warpartyparanormal.com, you'll find everything you want to know about War Party. And we are having an event next Saturday at Yesteryear Village. Ladies, that place is like the haunted Disney World. It's a living museum. And what they did was they brought all these historical homes all over Florida that were going to be demolished and brought them to this one area. And they call it Yesteryear Village, and then restored them to their glory. And the most famous one was featured on Ghost Avengers. the Riddle House. It used to be a funeral parlor. Someone hung themselves there, and it's not. And it'd be funny. It was on Ghost Hunters, but it's not the most active building there. There's other ones there, and it's just weird. It's like people witness things like outside, like shadow figures, like walking around.
The whole park.
Guards, the whole
Oh,
park.
wow.
That sounds
So
like a place we had in Georgia.
Yeah, it seems like to me that like anything that was attached to one of these buildings and they were moved there, it stirred things up and just made things stronger and like, you know, brought out the personalities of these buildings. But actually the most active for me is like they have a fire museum, super active.
Oh, wow.
Get all kinds of crazy things in there. But yeah, if you want to drive down to West Palm Beach, or if you want to, if you're local, come check us out. I believe there's still tickets left, and you get to investigate probably like 5 different houses, and we'll have all the equipment there. You get to investigate with our team members and see what we get. And more importantly, we help people. So anyone in Florida who, or if you know anyone who needs help, having problems with the paranormal, we're non-for-profit. We don't charge a dime, and we'll go there and we'll help you.
Yeah, and the best way to reach out to us, I had a couple people reach out to me on social media. The best way is to go through the website, through the messenger, and it'll go out to our co-founder and Eric, and we'll set up a case with you.
Yep, you can go to the website warpartyparanormal.com. You can message on Facebook or the War Party's Instagram. I'm the one that answers it. So you'd be talking to me. All right, did we cover everything, Mike?
I think we did.
Don't forget the Haunted Files next Friday.
Friday the 16th. This Friday.
Yeah, don't miss that.
9:00 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Paraflix, guys. And if you're not signed up for Paraflix, it's like $3.99 a month or something. They got a lot of great content on there. And if you sign up and use the code Haunted Files 25, you get 25% off your annual subscription. Comes out to like $35 or something. So
yeah, and Travel Channel cut back a lot of those paranormal shows. So if you're a paranormal junkie, you're gonna find everything you want there.
And
good talent.
And no ads. So
yeah.
But thank you guys for coming. It was great talking.
Thank you for having us. We'll have to do it again.
Yeah, thank you.
We'll have to have you on the Paranormal Coffee Talk over there.
Yeah, we'll come on over to your show. Check it out.
And you guys come up here and investigate.
Anytime. Yeah, we're not too far. I love a good road trip.
Oh yeah. All right, guys. Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
Yeah,
good night,
definitely.
everyone.
Good
And
night.
thank you to all our listeners and followers. Thank you.